Hello and welcome back to the Animal Wisdom World Summit. This is the place for animal lovers and spiritual seekers to connect with the wisdom of all kinds of animals, from family pets to wild animals to animal spirit guides. I'm your host, Dr. Kara Gubbins, founder of the Animal Wisdom Circle and How to Talk to Your Pet, the proven 4-step system that teaches everyone to connect intuitively with their pets or with any animal. And today we have the pleasure of meeting Amlas McLeod, and she's joining us from the island of Bimini in the Bahamas, and we're going to talk about the life lessons that we can learn from wild spotted dolphins. Originally from the UK, Amlas is the director of WildQuest, a retreat center in the Bahamas that offers animal lovers the chance to swim ethically with wild dolphins as they enhance their own personal growth with yoga, meditation, massage, and other healing workshops and modalities. I've had the pleasure of experiencing the magic there firsthand, so I'm really excited to be able to say welcome, Amlas.
Yeah, thank you, Cara. Yeah, it's nice to see you.
And I love your story about how you came to find the dolphins in Bimini, and now you've been there for how many years?
We've been here almost 20 years now. We first started coming to Bimini about 99, 2000, so 18, 19 years, yeah.
Which is just like, I don't know, 20, anything around 20 years just is like, wow, that's a long time. What happened? How did you find the dolphins, and how did you change your life to stay with them?
Well, some friends of mine actually started WildQuest in Key West. They had a very profound experience meeting the bottlenose in Key West. And by chance, I met them. They were talking about creating something, basically a retreat for humans, that humans can come and meet the dolphins. And then what happens within the human, which is really a remarkable magic thing when the human meets a dolphin, that it can be a safe place where that little small thing can be allowed to expand and flower. So that was the initial impetus for WildQuest. And when I was talking with them, I kind of had this big flash in my head that, myself and my partner would be working with them, but our lives at that point were very different. So I kind of ignored the thought. And then we met again with them 2 years later. And so from then, I said, well, maybe we're going to work with you. And they said, are you serious? And I said, well, I don't know. So then that was at a time when they were thinking of, they'd been running some retreats in Key West and had come over and met the Atlantic spotted dolphins here in Bimini, because there were some in the 90s. Naudler O'Keefe and her husband were running some programs here with the dolphins. And so then we joined, myself and Atmo, and slowly, over the next couple of years, the move to Bimini happened. Then the people who started it, Daya and Sandesh, they had various health issues, and so then we took over from them. And so it was a kind of a serendipitous kind of thing. I'd never really had an attraction to dolphins before, but somewhere I knew that this is where we were going. And when it was presented, and people say, how long are you going to do it for? 20 years is a long time, and it's actually true. And I don't really know, but I do know that it's something I can't imagine doing anything else, because it ticks all the boxes. It's in connection with nature. We're out on the ocean 7 or 8 hours a day. It's creating change, a beautiful change in the world. It's very transformative for people who come. So it feels like it's making the world a better place. We live in community here with the crew and with the people who come. And we like to consider ourselves a conscious community. We make a lot of effort around that. So it kind of ticks all the boxes as to what I would like in life. So I say, well, I don't know where else I would go. I guess, this is where I am. And until it finishes, I don't know,
Well, and you've been so guided all along the way that I'm sure that when it's time for some other adventure to claim you and your soul, that you'll follow that urge as well.
I'm sure. Yeah, I trust in that. Yeah.
And you talked about that magic place inside of you that is allowed to blossom. Can you say more about that and what happens to people when they actually get in the water with the dolphins?
Well, I mean, this is the magic. It's something when the human dolphin connection happens. Um, what I see, I mean, I know what I feel, but what I see in others is that when it happens, there's usually there's usually emotion, there's usually tears. There's this feeling of expansion and connection. Goosebumps, as I can, as I tell you right now. So it's somewhere. It's, if you've ever had the joy of meeting the master or an enlightened being, and looked into the eyes of an enlightened being, it's a similar experience. So people, basically drop from the head to the heart, which is really a simple way of saying it. They drop from the head to the heart, and once you drop from the head to the heart, then you do feel more expanded. You do feel more connected. You don't feel separate anymore. And I do feel that that's really what we are looking in the West now, particularly that's what we are looking for. We're looking for connection. We lead such separate, isolated lives, and we've forgotten that, if what is important, is the heart. How much have I loved? How much have I allowed myself to be loved? These are the kind of thoughts that go through your head. In hospice, when you get to the end of your life, it's not an importance about what kind of car you have or how big your house is. So this, I guess, if I could put one word to WildQuest, it would be connection, and that's what happens here. Connection. Not only the human-dolphin connection, but also the human-human connection, because people come and we live as a community and people connect and we live kind of in community, in kindness and in love with each other during the week, which is something that I see the dolphins doing. So we lead, we live by example.
And there's also connection to people connecting to their own hearts as well, which I think is where there's a lot of potential and a lot of power when that happens.
Correct. Yes. Because, if you live in your heart, if you find and live in your heart, then there's no fear, and for me, that's, a lot of what's happening right now. It seems it's like, we have the choice. We can either live from love or we can live from fear, and when you live in the heart, then you automatically are living from love. You automatically trust what's going to happen. You automatically, the heart doesn't know fear, really,
And you're so much more in the present moment, too, when you're centered in your heart.
Of course, yeah, the heart is only really here and now, yeah.
Yeah. So I think there's so many, obviously there's got to be tons of science about doing this kind of activity, being with animals, and all of the physical benefits and the medical benefits and the mental benefits and all of that, but also the spiritual benefits are there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And in all your years, what do you find to be like the biggest similarity or difference between humans and animals when they're swimming together in the water?
Well, when you see dolphins and people in the water together, of course, the dolphins are way more graceful. But that's what I love. I love to kind of turn around and you see dolphins and people in the water and you don't know which ones are dolphins and which ones are people. There becomes this kind of melting pot, and, of course, we have a code of conduct here about how we interact with the dolphins, and I'm very keen, we act with minimal intrusion, and we teach the people who come, how to behave in the water. Of course, we don't reach out and touch the dolphins. We usually swim with our arms at our sides or behind our backs, and we don't do much swimming per se. We don't do much horizontal swimming because we can't swim as fast as the dolphins. So we tend to become a pod in the water, and then it seems to me, the more we can be connected as a human pod in the water, the more attractive we are to the dolphins. So, of course, by the nature of how dolphins live in water, they're always moving. So, they'll come and they'll move through our human pod, and then they'll keep moving. And if we stay still, if they feel like it, they will turn, they'll go, oh, the party's happening back here. They will turn and they will come back to us. And that's really when it's remarkable, because, I don't know any other situation with a wild animal where they consciously make the decision to come and connect with us in the water with their babies. The mothers bring their young babies, they're wild animals. It's a different species. And actually, we're their number one predator. We kill, by various means, more dolphins than sharks do. And yet they come and want to connect with us eye to eye, and they come so close, So it's, even after 20 years, I'm still kind of mind boggled by it, and every time I see them, it's always my heart, poof, just opens up, and it's like, here they are, I'm still so excited by it all.
And, there's a theme that I'm noticing in my conversations that you just, touched on as well, of just that openness of animals, the ability to be so present in the present moment, to overcome, adversities or things like humans are dangerous, and to really get past that, to just be here, like, this situation feels good, so I trust it and I know it's okay, and I can do this.
Right.
And I think that's a huge lesson for people to learn about trust.
Exactly, yeah. And I also, feel with the dolphins that, they're just so incredibly generous with their inclusion. They include whoever is there, and sometimes, of course, we do have, not very often, but now is really, July 4th is a big tourist season. So sometimes we do have people, on the water coming up to us. They don't know how to behave. They don't have a radio, and they, the judgment is easily there that, oh God, these guys are idiots. They don't know what they're doing. And so clients say to me, oh, the dolphins won't want to go to those people. But the thing is, they do. They include everyone. It's an incredible thing. And it's a great lesson for me also to watch my judgmental mind and let it go. And that we're all doing our very best, and, the dolphins will do whatever they want to do. I can't control them. And all I can do is just really stand in wonder at how graceful and beautiful and kind they are.
And that lesson of inclusion is so important right now, especially with the politics in the United States and worldwide. There's definitely, it's being tested in a lot of ways. And I really admire, you bringing forward this reminder that it exists in the animals, it exists in us humans, and the reminder that we can choose that we can, have those impulses to judge or to separate or whatever, but we can also choose to be more inclusive, because I think we can all be more inclusive no matter what, every one of us.
Of course, and for me it's awareness. Awareness is the key, and of course, as far as I know, my mind will never stop judging. It's a judging machine. But I can choose to go with it, or I can choose to go, right, yeah, okay, thanks for that. Don't want to, don't need that today, and I can choose to do something different, So that's really, that's really a key for me. Yeah.
And that's a really powerful point of view. And how nice that you have that reminder from the dolphins who are doing that.
It is.
Right?
Yeah,
it's true to see that. So what's your favorite thing about the dolphins? What is that piece that you just find so enticing and fascinating that just keeps drawing you in and keeping you there?
Lordy, I don't know. Really for me, it's the main thing, I guess, is, there's a lot of research going on, but, in a nutshell, dolphins have very large brains. And, so of course, then the question is how, what do they use them for, because they don't just kind of brains just don't appear like that. There's an evolution behind it. And, from the very outside, I like the quote from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I don't know if I've told you this before, but Douglas, and he goes, dolphins as intelligent as us, you must be crazy. Look at us, and look what we've got. And, we've invented the wheel, and we've sent people to the moon, and we have New York and all this stuff. And what do the dolphins do? They just swim around, they eat, they sleep, they play, they have sex. How can they be more? And the dolphin goes, well, actually, we consider ourselves more intelligent than you for precisely the same reasons. So I really like that. And it really, to me, the mystery, the continuing mystery is, what are they using their brains for? Obviously we're inside our own mind, and we have an idea of what it can do and why it has developed as it is. And mainly it's because we have opposable thumbs and we can make things and we create stuff in the outside world. But my sense with the dolphins is their intelligence is really used on the inner journey, because they don't have opposable thumbs. So whatever it is, it's something to do with maybe something that I don't even really can't understand. I have no idea. It's in somewhere in that vast realm of the unknown. Of course, we've done many different experiments with them, and it's all on dolphins in captivity, which of course I don't support at all. But, it's been proven that they have telepathic communication. They can connect with each other without visual or auditory signals, all kinds of things. So for me, it's the mystery, the mysteriousness of this sentience that they have. And that's what really kind of keeps me kind of sucked in a way. That, and also just this presence. It feels that they are just present. And that's what I guess I'm looking for in my life, and I'm learning from them, because for me, I know that if I can just be present to this moment and just say yes to what's happening, I'm in heaven. If I kind of are rejecting if I say no to what's happening, then I'm in hell. And so, it is this presence and this awareness that I sense in them, and that I like the feeling in myself when I have that.
I love how you're bringing forward that whole idea, just thinking about like deadlines and, oh my gosh, I have so much to do and I'm going to have to do this later and I have to give up this to do that. And you're not in the present when you're doing that. And so you are living in your own little private hell of, stress and tension. And if you just go, here's what I'm doing right now, and focus fully on it, then you're fully engaged and you are in your own heaven. I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Amlas.
Yeah. Thank you.
There's so much in what you said too, like that, the mystery of them, the intelligence of them, and I love this idea. I've been fascinated by intelligence and dolphins since I was a kid. I'm wondering if you have read the book, and if you remember the book by Joan McIntyre called A Mind in the Waters.
Yes.
That was like such an inspiration for me. One of the, I guess when I was in high school and I first fell in love with dolphins, that was part of my inspiration for going to college and graduate school and all that, and studying dolphins myself. But there's something that has been echoed to me now that I communicate intuitively with dolphins. And a dolphin has told me that they have the matching intelligence of humans in a different medium. So things happen differently, like life choices, life lessons are very similar because of the similar intelligence, but different because of obviously different bodies, but also the different medium. So right. I love that you brought this forward and touched on it, because I think that part of that magic that you were describing of being in the heart kind of comes from touching that intelligence. Like you feel it when you're in the water with them. When they look you in the eye, you feel like they're seeing more than just, this body. I've definitely had the experience of those dolphins looking me in the eye, and I'm like, oh shit, they know everything.
People, it's like looking in the eye and you really feel seen. And people say this in various different ways, but you feel really seen, and in being seen, you feel kind of accepted, you feel totally seen and accepted. And it's almost the eye also, they allow you to really see into that, it's like you can see and also you're being seen. It is. It's a remarkable thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that was for me the first time I swam with the spotted dolphins in the Bahamas. I was a junior in high school. And I had that moment of feeling like it was like soul gazing, looking into a dolphin's soul and feeling like she was looking into my soul. And I feel like that moment changed my whole trajectory of my life for sure. But I love that we can get that with the dolphins today, coming to WildQuest or with any animal. I mean, looking into each other's eyes, just the two of us, even though we're on the opposite sides of the world practically, but we can look fully into each other's eyes and really see each other. And that's a gift that we can give everybody that we come in contact with, that acceptance and that sense of being really truly seen.
Right. Yeah.
I love that.
Mhm.
I really, I love everything that you're sharing, but that just really strikes me as something that we can, if there was one thing I'm going to take home today for my life from talking to you and hearing the wisdom of the dolphins, it's going to be that reminder to just really look deeply and really see whoever it is that I'm with and allow myself to be seen.
Mm. Yeah, that's the other side of it. For me, really seeing and really listening is a great skill, and it's also something that we work a lot with here in our, when we do various meditations, because also with the dolphins, I really feel seen. They don't speak to me, I don't, we have many animal communicators here who communicate, and also communicate. The way it works for me is more I feel in communion with them. When we're there, I feel connected and in communion. So I never really get any particular messages per se in language form. But I feel a sense of communion, definitely. Yeah. And I'm sure we're all yearning for that, to be connected, to see, be seen, to be heard. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's, for me, part of what attracts me to animal wisdom is, the opposite experience with organized religion in my childhood, right? Like that's what I was, hoping for with organized religion and being brought up in, a Catholic family and going to church and stuff, and what I kind of expected, because that was my sense of spirituality, was that sense of communion and openness and connection. And Super did not find that. For me, I did not find that there. But I found it with animals. I found it with my dog. I found it walking in nature. And I think that has, brought me back to, my spiritual, whatever context for my life is that it's easy for me to access that in myself when I'm with animals. And I think dolphins make it easy for so many people to access within themselves when they swim with dolphins.
Well, and also, I think what you said about being in nature as well, I think that also is a big key, because a lot of us live in kind of concrete jungles, and that's somehow it's a kind of a double whammy here, because we really live close to the land in our retreat center. We just step out onto the boat and we go with the tides and with the sun, and we're out bobbing on the ocean 7-8 hours a day, swimming in the ocean. So we're very connected with the rhythms of nature. And that also really brings people into connection, not only with themselves, but with Mother Earth, which is, very important, that people are also feeling cut off from.
Yeah, so many ways. I love that your word is connection.
Yeah, me too. Because it's what I want, so I always presume it's what everybody wants.
Well, it just so fits, connected to the earth, to nature, to dolphins, to each other, to hearts, to truth, to self, to all that is. Everything that's happening there with you guys is really promoting connection on all those levels. And I think that, like you said, I think that's what we're all yearning for. So what an amazing gift.
Yeah.
So when people come there, I'm imagining, well, and I've been there, so I know, but it feels like there must just be this kind of dismantling of all of the trappings of civilization as you experience this sense of magic within yourself. Does that happen?
I mean, it is, someone was saying the other day, we should take kind of before and after pictures, when people arrive and when people leave, because it really is quite astounding. And, people, of course, people come and they're usually, they're looking forward for a long time, or they're leaving their busy lives. They've had to do so much before they've left. So people do come a little kind of stressed out, and so it takes a few days to just relax, and then you can see in their faces people just opening and letting go and allowing people in a little more, and taking a few more risks, and laughing and crying and whatever wants to happen is fine. It's this human existence. Mm.
I love it. So do you have any final words of wisdom for our viewers about the dolphins and what they can teach us in our lives?
I mean, I don't know. For me, it's really about presence and awareness in this moment. That's the key, I think, for me. I mean, like dolphins and whales, they're all conscious breathers, and so actually they've evolved. They have to stay in the present moment in order to remember to breathe. And so I think somehow, I mean, I always say, I think this key is something why so many Homo sapiens are attracted towards the cetaceans, because we want a little more of that, because we can spend our whole lives never being in the present moment, always thinking about yesterday, fantasizing about tomorrow, and never being fully present here, which is where life is happening. And so dolphins and whales have to, because they have to remember to take the next breath. And so somehow evolution, I sometimes think maybe it was a mistake they made a mistake with us. If we'd evolved as conscious breathers, maybe it would be slightly different. Of course, life would be very different. But so for me, really, that's the lesson from dolphins. The main lesson is presence and of course also playfulness. They're definitely playful and childlike in that way, innocent and childlike. Yeah.
And connected, of course.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you, Amlas, for sharing all this. I feel like my heart is expanding just from having this conversation with you today.
Very sweet to talk with you, Cara. Yeah, it's very nice.
So for people who aren't connected with you yet, how can they connect with you?
Well, the website wildquest.com is very good, and if we do have we send out newsletters every couple of weeks. So on the website, you can sign up for a newsletter if you like. We do have spaces still left this year if you'd like to come and experience this magic. We'd love you to come. It's always nice to. I always feel like the people who come, it's like members of a tribe, because it is true, people are looking for nature, looking for expansion, looking for, people are all on a search of one sort or another. Yeah.
Beautiful. And I have to say that the newsletter is worth getting just for the photos that you get every time. Like, they're so amazing to just get those photos in your inbox.
My partner is the photographer, and I must say, even though I'm biased, he's probably the best dolphin photographer in the world, because he's been doing it now for 20 years, underwater and also over water. But his photos are really amazing. It's true. Yeah.
Yeah, they're really stunning.
Mm.
So, and I want to just remind people that you can get your all access pass and listen to this interview again, listen to all the wisdom, all the information, all the interviews, and all of the sessions during the Animal Wisdom World Summit for the rest of your life. You get lifetime access to all of these videos with your all access pass. There's a button on this page for you to sign up for the WildQuest newsletter. There's also a button on this page to sign up for your all access pass. And just a friendly reminder, the price goes up after the summit ends. So if you're watching this now and you're thinking about it, I encourage you to go ahead and just click on that button and just make sure that you get all of this great wisdom and inspiration. And thanks everybody for being here. Amlas, one more time, thank you so much for sharing yourself and your wisdom and the dolphins' wisdom with us here today.
Thank you so much, Cara. Really lovely to see you again. Thank you.
You too. All right. Have a beautiful day. I look forward to connecting with everybody again soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.